from. Alright, Niah, you feel like you're a bad man? Me come from lot 1225. A Sean Crescent, me come from a Rose Heights. Batty man, Mobile. You somebody? You somebody?
Watch it now. You see what I tell you about? You must say I'm bad. A man pull up right now with 6 SK dog, the boy are dead. Even with a blood clot, one matic bad man, the boy are dead. Cause first thing, you know bad man attack out the address pussy. Them boy you know strap dog, no bad man attack the address a dog and police running. I know a right time for killer them and man busting head running upon him. But suck your mother boss said they're bad man. But suck your mother.
Shanari and that not the part me name. Who you again, little boy? Who you again? Who you again? Who you again? Girl and your off my hood from me, I go a open line. And that me I tell you. You know I'm go to jail pan when me a juvenile little boy. You want me talk my business pan like. Me go to jail for wounded and sexual assault. Batty man when me a juvenile. You somebody. Idiot. Batty boy. You somebody. I'm own a girl, me own a friend them fuck off and me alone go to jail for 1 year and that still down the palm because no police no have no palm.
You as a bad man, you own a friend them, you a waste man. You own a friend them fuck off your girl. Your girl, or you own a friend them for fuck off your girl, so good.
You're shame.
Welcome to Jamaica Dancehall Source News and Entertainment with a Buzz. Welcome to Jamaica Dancehall Source News and Entertainment with a Buzz. Now, this is an older video of a confrontation between 41 BUSSHEAD and Niah gang. If you did not know, both of these men that were on social media, popular on TikTok, lost their life. Both of them came unalive while they were on their live. Niah first, and then in less than 2 weeks, 41 BUSSHEAD. So here's the thing about TikTok and the type of purses that pop and then get popped on social media is the people that promote all sorts of despicable lifestyle, meaning disrespect to women, meaning this badness culture, meaning just disrespect, no sorts of respect for anybody, anywhere, anytime. Because this is what seems to sell. This is what purses like. This is what makes people the hitman or the top man on TikTok platform. And we see since then, we hear a whole lot of person a ball and a beg, and I say, Niah a good youth. He is no sorts of bad man, and while that is true, maybe he was not bad, but he was definitely a bait. He was definitely putting himself in harm's way. As it pertains to 41 BUSSHEAD conflicting because it is said that he is linked with Raymond BUSSHEAD, who happens to be his brother-in-law. It is kind of conflicting based on news that is out there. So what we see is the energy that you put out there in the atmosphere that always comes back and haunts you. And these are two perfect examples of exactly that. Now we see that a whole bunch of TikTokers, the Jadens and the Slime, etc., them are run away. I am speaking about on some small island, Panama, Costa Rica, whatever. And they are hiding until things cool down. But people, if you remember, maybe about a year or a couple months ago, I told you guys that watch out for these people on TikTok, watch out for these people on social media. It is only inevitable that they were going to be dropping like flies. Such is the case, and unfortunately, this is just the start of things to come. Point blank and period.
Popcaan, your Spanish stone and cartel one. You suck your mother. You remove your pussy hole and come down.
So the next thing that is popping in the news is that the much anticipated interview by Vybz Kartel on The Fix. That was on Monday at about 12 noon to be specific. 2 hours and probably a half. Don't quote me on the time. It was highly anticipated because persons were saying, hold on a minute. We hear say, Walk and Talk supposed to get the Vybz Kartel interview. We hear say, Jeffrey of Let's Be Honest was supposed to get the interview, but it seems as if the interview landed in the hand where there's a history, where there's respect, mutual respect. And that was The Fix. Now we saw that video clip that we saw circulating all over social media with Vybz Kartel answering the question that he has long avoided as it pertains to Sir Sheep, and you heard the voice, imitation voice by Vybz Kartel, you know whomever I am speaking about. So persons were thinking, wait, Vybz Kartel, I go address him once and for all. Vybz Kartel is going to give his side of the story because anybody with an iota of sense knows that there's an obsession because of views, as it pertains to such man, Sir Sheep that is. So people were eager to hear what he had to say, but the truth and the fact is that the interview, 2 hours and probably a half, was less to do about him. It was more about social media. It is more about Vybz Kartel music, Vybz Kartel's life, Vybz Kartel characteristics, in which, based on just this one interview, I am sure that he won over a whole bunch of persons, regardless of all the negative stereotypes that are out there, if he was responsible for the takeaway of Clive Lizard Williams. So here are some facts as it pertains to Vybz Kartel and Popcaan's relationship, business and friendship. Everybody and their mother know that Vybz Kartel gave Popcaan his boss in the business. Took him from a poor youth to make him rich, even filthy richer since Vybz Kartel incarceration. Would his career have been better with Vybz Kartel being out? Would he have been held down as an understudy or a prefect of the Gaza? No one knows that, but we know that Popcaan definitely was mediocre at first, and then he learned the business, learned on the job, make himself a professional, make himself good because he has a unique voice of how he delivers, which makes him be somebody that is in much demand on the social media, the international music scene. Everybody, all sorts of collaboration that bust all over the place, nameless. So Vybz Kartel probably said to himself, well, hold on a minute, me lock up, and as soon as me lock up, Popcaan at 2-2 go sign, I think, with Jamie Roberts, don't quote me on the name, a next record company. I think the same company that Bean Man was involved with. Write the name in the comment section if you know or if you remember. So people are saying, then hold on a minute, Popcaan, this Vybz Kartel, but the truth and the fact is that we've never heard Popcaan say anything negative about Vybz Kartel. He might not have big him up in the first because he was probably afraid that he would also be drawn in the mix-up and get charged for the takeaway. So we can kind of understand that that is why he was not showing his loyalty. Person said, well, them definitely not good. So that might be a motive for him to take away Popcaan. It's not a motive for anybody to take away anybody, but we've seen it done whenever you diss certain people, you might end up losing your life. However, when Vybz Kartel clarified that the problem that he had is that him give him a boss in the business, and then as soon as him get locked up, him go and sign with the next company. So therefore, he saw that as being disrespectful. He saw that as being disloyal. And it's one thing that we know about persons, even if they are not loyal, they always want loyalty. So he made it very clear that yes, him and Popcaan good, but Popcaan violate, that is why, because Popcaan did not visit him, because Popcaan probably knew that him kind of have him up because of that reason, and he did not want to face the fire, sit down on the hot seats. So Vybz Kartel made that very clear that there was no sorts of motive other than that him switch up when he was down on the ground. He pretty much felt as if he was stepped in his head, meaning that Popcaan stepped in his head while he was down, showing disloyalty. Was that a motive for him to take away Popcaan? It depends on who you ask. This interview also answered the question as to who the undisputed best podcast in Jamaica is. And there are only actually 2 that are in competition. Person are saying this one is numero uno, this one is numero dos. But people, that question has been answered, and the fix have left Jeffrey in the dust. He is second by miles just based on this one interview alone. This interview broke the internet. That video has in excess of about 400,000 views in about 18 hours or so. Do not quote me on this. So that question was answered. The next thing that made most persons intrigued about the whole thing is the answer that Vybz Kartel had, or his response to Sir P. It was short, it was swift, it was precise, and it pretty much squashed all the questions for anybody who are average person that thinks with their brain and understand the courts. So pretty much Sir Sheep was making all sorts of allegations that Vybz Kartel had plotted with some killers from Spanish Town, one other clansman, and they were in a vehicle and they were trailing them. He made it seem as if he had a bird eye or he was listening to some sorts of sting operation. He was there in the back seat or the trunk. He made it sound first and he made it sound very credible speaking about Sir Sheep. But here is how the court works, if you did not know. Other than evidence that you can touch, whether it's physical, whether it is circumstantial, it is just hearsay. If those persons that were a part of that sting, that were supposed to watch the whole thing unfold, hold the suspect or protect the victim, which would have been Popcaan. If they cannot go to court and say, yes, we were there, give a sworn statement, then whatever this person is saying as a third person or third party does not count in a court. It is irrelevant. It is not considered as evidence. It is considered as hearsay, especially if the two persons who are supposed to be a part of the conspiracy to take away Popcaan, meaning Vybz Kartel and clans and one other, if they were never charged, if they were never accused, if they were never officially held on questioning, and even most importantly, if Popcaan, who was supposed to be the person that was supposed to lose his life, did not go to court and said, yes, I was there on that specific day in question, and yes, I was in fear of my life, and yes, the police took me away out of harm's way, then everything that that person says mean absolutely ish, other than great imagination, great storytelling. Even if it is true, even if Popcaan being the victim denies that it happened because of fear of his life, it means absolutely nothing, just another great story, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called Desperate Times Calls for Desperate Measure. The pictures that you see on the screen are from some old men, younger men that are from Whole Harbor that are involved in the GUNS for drugs trades that go to Haiti specifically, sometimes to the Bahamas. Well, people, the other day, like they say, every day that the bucket goes to the well, one day the bottom is going to drop out. And people, the bottom of those persons hustling dropped out a couple of days ago when they were held by Border Patrol Narcotics Division. You could see the disappointment in their faces, the fact that they must say to themselves, damn, we get FUCK. Now, people, we really don't have any sorts of problem with persons that are hustling little weed to feed them family, take care of themselves. However, when you start to mix up the thing, the weed, and then you care about the gun, so you are hustling the weed, get the money for the weed, and then come back with gun, and then hustle the guns. There's where most Jamaicans have a problem with, and it seems as if that is what a lot of these persons that are involved in the weed for GUN's trade are doing. When you look at Jamaica and see the fact that in excess of 12, 14, 1,600 people lose them life, 85% of those persons are through the gun, or the gun was used as a tool of weapon or choice. We have to say to ourselves, we can't really feel sorry for them, because it is not as if they are just some desperate farmers that are trying to make a living for themselves. Them are also little weed rate. No, they are adding to the corruption, adding to the death toll that exists in Jamaica. So whenever the police hold them, they need to give them the full brunt of the law, because we see the negative ripple effect. Persons are actually losing their life, not for the weed, but for the GUNS that are used in a lot of these takeaway of purses. Even though they might think that it is innocent, them just a make a money, they are the ones that are supplying or being a part of the circle of corruption and wickedness in Jamaica. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.